All right, so welcome everyone to the Gould Syndrome Foundation community meeting. I'm so glad that you're either joining us or able to watch this later on, other than today. It's being recorded. Um, we have our agenda today. We can take a quick look at it here. Some general updates. We'll have some specific updates having to do with the conference next year that we're planning. You may have heard about that. We have some more specific details concerning that. But our primary kind of focus for this meeting is fundraising, because that's what we need to be doing, to do fundraising for the conference next year. And so we have two guests today. They're going to be kind of sharing their experiences as far as that goes, and hopefully helping all of us to kind of get involved with that when whatever we do, on whatever level we're able to be fundraising. And so hopefully that will kind of give us the push we need, or whatever, or just the information we need. Um, but before we go any further, let me kind of introduce us. So this is the Gould Syndrome Foundation board. You can see here we have our president, Brittany, who works so hard. You wouldn't imagine all she does. If you see her, tell her, Brittany, take a break. Um, and then we have our vice president, Lacey, and she also does so much as far as. And then my name is Tim Roy, as you can see, the treasurer. And then our newest board member is Michelle. So welcome, Michelle, our secretary. All right. I'm sure she'll do a lot more than, well, she'll do all sorts of things, but we're so glad to have her here. As far as updates go, one kind of important update is, we step back and we kind of consider that the foundation is relatively new, right? We only kind of launched at the beginning of this year. And so we've been trying to kind of still kind of get everything up and running. And one of the big milestones that we have been able to achieve, you could say, is meeting with our science and medical advisory board. And so this is um, a group of doctors or scientists, researchers that we have reached out to help us as far as leading the foundation and guiding us as far as research or various important things that will pertain to their expertise. You can think about it as far as the foundation, we want to be a bridge between you all, the community, and the medical and scientific kind of community, right? We want to be listening to you all, your experiences, your needs, and can be able to represent them to the doctors, to the researchers. Um, and then we want to take what their, as far as research or their knowledge, and to be able to communicate to you all. Um, and so it's very super important that we were able to meet for the first time with this board that we've assembled. And that was in early September. And you can see there as far as some of the key focus areas that we wanted to, as far as collaboration and data sharing, or patient care and access, patient registries, and then of course the conference. Some of the specific topics we did speak on during the meeting were, as far as kind of big picture, as far as we asked the doctors and researchers, right, what should be our focus as a foundation right now, and they said really to be a central resource for the patient community and the providers, of course, and as far as the website goes, and if you haven't been to our website, we would invite you to check that out and see all the resources that we have assembled there. It's really there's a lot there. So please check that out. But also, and I think I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this in a minute, as far as I believe one of the doctors mentioned about creating some sort of a map of physicians, recommended physicians that it would be a resource that people could look up and be like, okay, these are good doctors that people have been cared for well by, and that are knowledgeable about Gould syndrome. And so we're going to need your help to kind of create this map. And again, more about that in a minute. Um, just a couple of things mentioned during the meeting that may be of interest. We talked about the studies Dr. Vassar and Dr. Mussolino are running, natural history studies, and the potential down the road of us creating a patient registry as a foundation and what would be kind of the important aspects of that. And then we asked about the feasibility of getting a dedicated ICD-10 code relative to Gould syndrome. What would be involved in that, and we kind of started just that conversation. We haven't really moved the ball there down the road any further, but at least kind of say, okay, is this a goal, a worthy goal to have? And of course, I think at the end we mentioned the conference. So it went quick. But going forward, we're going to be leaning on our medical and scientific advisory board a lot in planning the conference for next year in 2026 in Boston. And so you'll be hearing more about that in a few minutes as well. And so with that, I'm going to actually hand it over to Michelle, and you can go for it.
You, Tim. Hello, everyone. So one of the topics that we were talking about in one of our meetings was creating a patient-to-patient physician referral map, and seeing on the Facebook page, seeing on social media how, when people get diagnosed, they like to bounce off and, where do you recommend a doctor, or, I'm in this area, where can I see a doctor that's, has experience with COL4A1A2. And so we put our heads together and we are putting together a patient-to-patient physician referral map that is, right now it's community-based, community-supported. It is not, it has not, there's really no endorsement by anyone. It is just really sharing your information with, doctors that you have experienced with, and that they treat you right, or your child right, or that they really want to know more, and they really want to know more about COL4A1A2. So we are actually, there's a link that we have on our website, and it will be a community-driven resource. And we just ask that if you have any doctor or any type of physician or medical provider that you have seen, any therapists, anybody that you see that you would like to recommend, if you could please fill out that survey, and we are going to compile it and put it on a map, since we know that people from all over the world have COL4A1A2 and have seen doctors from all over the world, that if you'd like to submit your response for the survey, this would be wonderful, and we can create a map and have it as a resource on our website. So we put that in the chat, the patient-to-patient referral form. And again, it's a peer-to-peer resource, so this is not anyone who has endorsed it, but except for our community members. So thank you for all of your input, and if you can, help the rest of our community members with your input. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So yes, for those of you who are at our August community meeting or saw any of our announcements about us hosting the 3rd annual International COL4A1A2 conference in Boston, spring 2026, we now have a date. It'll be on May 15th and 16th. And again, in Boston at Massachusetts General Hospital. Back in our August meeting, our really wonderful advisor, Rebecca Oberman, helped kind of share this news, and she shared a lot about why this is so important and the value of the conference. So if you're interested in more of those details, I'd invite you to go on our website and watch back that August meeting. But yeah, aside from that, our scientific and medical advisory board really stressed to us when we met with them that there's no better way to advance research than to just bring all the experts together, and they can just talk, think, learn about our disease for 2 days. It's just truly invaluable. And the conference is for everyone. It's for the patients, the families, clinicians, the researchers, everyone. Further, it will be the first time that this conference is being hosted in the Northern Hemisphere. which is just really exciting. We hope it'll bring, some new people that weren't able to travel to Italy for the first two. And we are working really closely with the Italian Association, Simona and Francesca. They're really lovely, and we're working together to just create some continuity conference to conference. And let's see. So the way it'll look, oh, sorry, if you can go back. Day one will be more about kind of patient connection and education. Patients, families meet, connect, learn about different relevant topics. There'll be panel discussions. And the cool part about it is that the physicians and scientists, the clinicians, they will be joining this day as well so that they can hear from us and really learn from us, which is really valuable. And then day two will be the research focused portion where the clinicians and researchers will present their work. And again, the families, the patients are invited to that as well. Everyone can ask questions and just learn from each other. And a little note that childcare will be available. On the next slide here, a few little facts, kind of frequently asked questions. The conference will be live streamed. Again, it'll be May 15th and 16th. It'll be for everyone, adults, pediatric patients, parents, caregivers, providers, researchers. And as far as helping, there will be next slide, a little bit more detail on this, but watch out for a survey. We really, really value everyone's thoughts, and we have some questions for you guys. So watch out for that. Aside from that, we really appreciate all the volunteers we have that have helped us get this far, but we have a lot more to do. So we would love anyone who's at all interested to fill out our volunteer form on our website. And also fundraising. Our big topic we'll touch on as well. I think, Michelle, you've got the next slide.
Yes, please come and join the fun in helping us plan for our conference. There will be another community poll and volunteer poll as well, a community survey for everyone. If you could fill it out, it's actually pretty important to do it as soon as possible. We're finishing, we're in the process of finishing up the survey. So it has as much information on it as possible, but it will have important information like topics that we're going to have on our conference. And we also are asking for suggestions from you as well. And there's also, if you could sign up to be a volunteer, either for planning, we could do event planning, even technical logistical work on the ground once we're there at the conference or after the conference, set up, take down, but also information on that poll and on that survey that we'll be sending out, we'll put on social media, on our website, and in the newsletter, is for the possibility of having clinical visits. So they are looking to see and plan for having patients see some of the world-renowned doctors there at MGH. However, there are requirements that need to be fulfilled in order to be seen. And so those requirements will be on the poll. And that's why it's so important to take a look at it. But we will have that soon and have a lot of information for you on it. And so please look for that. So thank you.
Brittany, did you want to, maybe you could introduce Courtney just a bit?
Yes, I totally can. So our next speaker is Courtney Woods. She's a wonderful mom in our community, and I'll let her introduce herself as well. But she's here to kind of talk about her experience with a really wonderful fundraiser she's been doing for many years now called Landon's Lab. So we hope you guys can kind of listen and learn from her and maybe think about some ways that you might be able to fundraise too. Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. As Brittany mentioned, my name is Courtney Woods, and my son is Landon. So he is about to turn 4. So we just actually this past weekend did his 4th lap, but it kind of started from he was diagnosed when he was 6 weeks old with GOLD syndrome. And at that point, there was, I think, only a couple hundred cases in the world. So we kind of jumped into like how we could help, what we could do. And out of that, it started with Landon's lap. And so if you want to go to the next slide, I can show you the picture there on the left with everyone with umbrellas was actually the first lap that we did for him. So it pretty much stems from, it started with everyone asking how they could help, what they could do. And so we decided to meet at a local park. We picked a date around his birth date, and we're just going to take a lap around the park. And then, yeah, so like I said, it rained the first time. There was about 150 people. We were under a small pavilion. Everyone brought their, umbrellas, their jackets, and we still did it in the pouring down rain. And the first year there was, like I said, 150 people. Then we had raised $12,000 that first year. And so it really was at that point in time low cost. We met at the park. We, paid for the pavilion, which was pretty budget friendly with everything, and we just walked. And then as part of that, we also would like get shirts made, and we had reached out to local businesses, kind of shared a little bit of our story to see if they would donate a certain cost per shirt back to the organization to see, kind of explain the story and what we were doing. And just, I think like out of all of it, the biggest thing was like tapping into the resources, your network, your connections, as well as sharing our story.
Mm.
So I use social media a lot just to share updates about Landon and the different things that he goes through. And now, as it's grown and people have gone, they've brought their friends, they brought their family, their neighbors, whoever it might be. The second year we had over 170 people. We raised almost $15,000. And that time we kind of added in 50/50 ticket sales, and just each year it's kind of been additional things we've added just um, to try and see what works, what doesn't. And 2024 was 200 plus people. There we added in like raffle baskets, and we were so close to $20,000. We made it to like 19,600.
Mm.
And then this last year, it's been the biggest one yet. We tried to be more efficient with, reaching out to local businesses. I had a friend that's very good at marketing things. And so she created these flyers, again, just talking about what other people can do, what your network is good with, if it, between making shirts, coming up with people that may have tickets that they want to donate for a raffle item, or someone that is good at marketing. We don't turn away people that want to help. It's like, okay, great. How can you help and fit them into something that they're good at? And it may like this just was their time making these flyers for us and kind of keeping me more organized for the first time of just having things outside of my head. So she helped create these flyers. We reached out to local businesses, kind of made a way for people that couldn't be there still to participate. And then probably somewhat, annoying, but sharing things again over and over on social media so people know about it and come. And then we're still going to kind of accept donations through the rest of the month as well, just to celebrate his birthday. So we can still kind of just do it the month of his birthday. And that's kind of what's worked for us.
Mm.
And I think it's the next slide. Yeah, so this was a like a more targeted document that we sent to local businesses as far as, if they wanted to be a sponsor. And we had a family pay for the event space that we used this year. And so it also made it cheaper in that aspect for us hosting it, having people donate. Like there was a donut place and they threw in extra donuts. And so just sharing with people, if they don't respond, they didn't respond. It wasn't, a big deal or anything, but there was more people, more businesses. Think about businesses also that you may support a lot. And we would ask them for gift cards for raffles, and more so asking and just sharing our story. There was a lot more people and donation items that we had for raffles. And more sponsorship options that we allowed this year as well. We had a friend that also helped with making the shirts, and certain companies wanted logos on shirts, so they had a higher amount to donate. And so just things like that we've learned throughout the last couple of years. But honestly, it just started with a bunch of us going to a park, walking, talking about it, and showing, people that were there how they could donate. And that, started with over $10,000. So I'll pause there. I said a lot of things. If anyone has any, questions or things as well, I'm happy to answer about our experiences and what we've done.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Courtney. I really appreciate you sharing that. It's really, really inspiring, really.
Mm.
Thank you. Well, I think our next, since we don't have any questions, we have Beth, who recently became our committee leader for fundraising. She's a mom and she is just really knows a lot about fundraising. And so she's put together quite a few really wonderful resources for you guys and is going to share just some tips and more information.
Yeah, thank you, Brittany. And so I'm hoping to just kind of lay out some ideas to get people started with this fundraising process. We have a $30,000 goal to make this conference happen. But obviously, the more we raise, the more we can help families who wouldn't otherwise be able to access the conference. And Courtney, I so loved hearing just now that the first time you had your walk, you raised $12,000. Like a little bit can turn into a huge, huge win. And truly, if 10 people donate $100 a piece, we're already $1,000 of the way there, right? So there is no amount that doesn't count. With the one-to-one fundraising, maybe a more comfortable and immediately accessible sort of way to get started with the fundraising process. And so just some ideas as we're getting started with this. If you're more comfortable or feel like the thing I can do right now is just ask people for donations, right? An event isn't something that I feel ready to do right now. Social media is obviously a really helpful tool in this instance, but also if you're not on social media or if you aren't using social media very much, if you have people's email addresses, email chains are still incredibly helpful. If you're in a workspace, think about sharing with your work community. Individual texts go a long way. Share at upcoming family holidays. But when you are fundraising, whether this is one-to-one fundraising or we're talking about events, what really matters is your why. If you think about some of the organizations that you see people fundraise for regularly, like your local children's hospital, perhaps, or if people who have done a breast cancer walk or something like that, people have a personal connection to that hospital or to that cause that gets them passionate and wanting to donate. With a rare disease like Gold syndrome, people aren't super familiar. And so your story helps them feel a sense of connection to the community, which then gives them that interest and that passion in donating to make an event like this happen and to drive research forward. So share your why and your own connection to Gold syndrome to help people understand what it is and why this is important. And also it's an opportunity for them to get to know you a little bit and your family and support you in that way. Broad asks on social media are wonderful, and we've put together some resources with some sample language that you can use. So you're not having to build the language totally from scratch. But the more you can directly ask individuals and share your story and ask them to support, the more likely folks are also to respond, because people might miss your social media post. And when you make a direct personal connection, people feel more personally responsible to respond to you. Even if they're not able to donate right now, there might be something else they can do to help you spread the word, right? And on the Gold Syndrome Foundation website, when you do go to make a donation, there's an option that says check for employer matching. Lots and lots of employers do donation matches. So that's a great, easy win for doubling funds. If you are feeling like you are ready to try an event, you don't need to do something like big and wild and out there, but rather bake sales and craft sales are a great way to make use of things that you might do in your hobby time. that could also help generate funds for this conference. I have a colleague in my office who she makes like little Scrabble piece ornaments that she sells for $10 a piece around the holidays to raise funds for her daughter's dance team, right? If your community has craft fairs, consider if you bake, consider doing a booth and selling baked goods, or outside of your local market or grocery store are great places to post up. Or even just if you enjoy baking or crafting and you can share with friends and family, I'm fundraising for this, and selling cupcakes, and you can deliver them over time, right? It doesn't have to be a standalone event. Game tournaments are a fun way to unite people around a fun activity to do. Trivia nights as well. And trivia nights, board game tournaments, card game tournaments, these are things that pair really well with raffles or silent auctions. So you can be charging people to participate, but also there's a fun and engaging way to generate money while also giving people who don't want to compete a chance to donate and still be able to win. My community does a townwide yard sale every year, right? And they allow you to say if you're doing your yard sale for charity, and people are more inclined to come by, right? But yard sales in general, you can put a stake outside of your house to let people know that it's for a charity. And again, people more likely to stop. And another way for you to engage your community and let them offload things that they need to get rid of from their home. So this list of fundraising event examples is really just like a starting point. Courtney just shared her walk, which they paid for the pavilion the first time, but had very little overhead. Everything on this list can have tremendously low overhead, especially if you're willing to ask for help. When you are hosting any sort of event that needs an event space, places like breweries or other locations that could stand to make business off of the people attending will often give you the space for free. And anyone who walks into the space just to go to that venue has an opportunity to come join your event and learn more and also donate. Local businesses, like Courtney was saying, particularly businesses that you may patronize, are often willing to support with in-kind donations or monetary donations as well. Events that host 10 people matter. Events that host 100 people matter. But it's a great way, again, to unite the community around this cause and also invite people into your world so they can better understand what Gould syndrome is and how it affects you or affects your family, and really understand why this research and why this conference is going to be so important. If you are thinking that you might want to host an event, we can help with figuring out those logistics. So one of the resources we've developed is like a sample fundraising guide that walks through an actual sample event and the timeline for that and the budget and how much could stand to be raised. We're putting together a fundraising toolkit to help you get started with everything. So know that if this is something you think you want to try, but you've never done it before, there is support here to help you make that happen. So don't hesitate to reach out for that.
Thank you so much, Beth. That was so wonderful. So many real world tips. And you can find more information on our website there, as well as contact information. Let's see, do we have any questions on any of the things we touched on? I think we're question free. Well, thank you everyone. Both Courtney
Well, you
and
know what? I have
Beth.
a question. Is there any way, I know that, Beth, I'm going to put your information in the chat if that's okay. Courtney, if anybody has questions, is there a way to get in touch with you? Should they just contact the Gould syndrome and send their questions to?
That's fine. Or, I mean, I have a personal email too, but whatever is helpful. It's it's not my current name. It's my maiden name from, 11 years ago. So, maybe it's easier if they just contact the Gold Syndrome and then, you know, Brittany or whoever can reach out.
I'll forward them right through.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Put the information in the chat.
Awesome. Well, anyone, if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, we highly suggest that. It's a really great place to keep updated as we get new developments with the conference and really anything and everything. Follow us on social media and check out our website. The natural history studies, both Dr. Vassar and Dr. Musolinos are both still enrolling, so highly suggest you do that and contact us if you have any interest in getting involved with any of the myriad of things we talked about today.
We will definitely need fundraising help for the conference.
Yep.
And definitely need input on any additional topics or anything like that for the conference as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. We'll end here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.